Everybody. I think in most parts of the country we're in the afternoon now. So as Lauren's partner with Slow Foods, Slow Gardens program, we go across the country and discover all these great partnerships that can help support school gardens. And within the last year, we were introduced to Common Threads by some of our teams in Chicago, and I got really excited about their cooking and nutrition programs that could easily support the work that we do in school gardens. Many of our garden leaders are very strong in the gardening aspect of working with kids because that's mostly their backgrounds. But here at Slow Food, we want to make sure that those garden programs go all the way into cooking and sharing that food as part of the class. And so having support like through Common Threads and connecting their cooking and nutrition classes to the school gardens seemed like a really natural fit to really take some of our programs to that next level where the kids are growing, harvesting, eating, cooking, eating, and sharing that food all together. So we're really happy to have Common Threads as a partner, and Stephanie is going to tell us a lot about their program, where their program is available across the country, and how you can utilize their resources. So we're very excited to have you on board, Stephanie, and really excited to hear about your presentation.
Thanks, Andy. So I've got the presentation up. Like Andy said, my name is Stephanie. I'm the curriculum manager for Common Threads, and I also want to tell you a little bit about Common Threads. We are a national nonprofit organization, and we believe that cooking is a life skill. And out of this belief comes all the programs that we offer both to our schools and community organizations, which include hands-on cooking programs as well as nutrition education programs. And we provide these at a lot of different grade levels, parents, teachers, any community members. The program, though, that this particular resource that we're talking about today, Common Bytes, is most closely related to is our Small Bytes program. So the Small Bytes program is a set of 8 lessons that make up the curriculum. They are nutrition and cooking-based lessons that can be done both in school and out of school. They are knife-free, and the students are really getting the opportunity to make a healthy snack, especially with items that are growing in your school's garden or maybe the local community garden. All the lessons are aligned to the Common Core state standards, the Next Generation Science standards, and the National Health Education standards. And as you finish up this program with the students, they'll be able to make their own healthy snack, maybe from your school garden or from their at-home garden. The lessons are available for pre-K through 8th grade students. And we're going to be offering a free online training on this program on November 14th to everyone who's on this webinar today as a special thank you to the Slow Foods community for the support. So I'll be giving you more details on that. Outside of this program, Common Bytes also runs cooking programs, parent workshop programs, family cooking programs. Those aren't necessarily available nationally. They're available in our different cities. So we currently operate in Chicago, Los Angeles, New Orleans, Austin, Jacksonville, Miami, Washington, D.C., and New York, and then most recently Pittsburgh as well. But the Small Bytes program and Common Bytes that we're talking about today can be done in any part of the country, in any classroom, as long as the teacher is able to go through training. So let me tell you a little bit about Common Bytes before we start in on the demo on that blended learning tool, but it's a website that is just chocked full with online resources, healthy recipes, and games designed for educators looking to incorporate nutrition and cooking education into their classroom or their after-school program. It's a digital platform that our hope is will mobilize folks who are looking to engage in this field and looking for resources to get started. So the Common Bytes website is plug and play. Some people like to tie it to lesson plans. It's also built in such a way that you can just go ahead and start playing and you don't need to have any formalized lesson plan. In our experience,
Sorry,
since
Stephanie,
working with our...
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Yes.
There's a lot of background noise, so just a reminder to please mute yourself, whether you're using a phone or you're using your computer, just so we can all hear Stephanie's wonderful presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Lauren. So Common Threads has been operating since 2003 when we were founded, and since that time we've had a lot of experience helping our schools meet local wellness policies. And so as we were designing Common Bytes, we kept this in mind as well, so that our schools or community members who are using this are helping to adhere to those local wellness policies. We've also gone ahead and incorporated different core content learning throughout the games as well, because we know that that is also critically important in supporting our schools and our students. And we made this an opportunity for blended learning, because when we launched the Small Bytes program in 2012, one of the biggest requests we've heard from our teachers who implement that program is they wanted digital support so they could offer the blended learning piece. And so that's why we embarked on this project to build Common Bytes. And we've also designed it to be suitable for both independent student work and group learning. So it can work with whatever style your particular classroom works best with or that particular lesson is running. The goal of the website is to support an improvement in our students' health by promoting nutrition and cooking knowledge that will change their attitudes and behaviors in that space. We hope it both enhances the effectiveness of existing programs, that it continues to strengthen the connection between participants, schools, and the community because of that digital aspect. More people can readily access it. And then we hope that it will also bring about improved dietary intake behaviors. This is the first year of the website, so we haven't yet done external evaluation on it, but these are the goals that we hope to measure one day. So with that, let's go ahead and start on a demo for you guys so you can see it. So anyone, anywhere, at any time can access the website by going to http://commonbytes.org. It will take you to this landing page, and once you come here, you want to go ahead and hit Let's Play. That will take you to the sign-in page. So you can see currently I'm not signed in, meaning that if you go here and you don't want your students to go through the whole process of signing up, or you're not interested in signing up, you still have some functionality that you can use. However, towards the end of the tour, I'll show you some of the increased features that you get when you do make a free account. So let's go ahead and click on Recipes. And when you come here, you'll see that you start to see the beginning of our recipe bank. So let's say I'm interested in making a side dish. I can click here, and now I can see all of the different healthy side dishes that Common Threads has uploaded. One of my favorite that I want to show you today is beet ravioli. So for this recipe, you peel the beets and then you thinly slice them. They're raw, you don't need to roast them. And then you lightly salt them, let them sit overnight. That salt is going to soften up the beets and give them an almost al dente noodle texture. And then what we do is we pipe the little beets full of some herbed goat cheese, and you have a fun little take on beet ravioli and an opportunity for students to try the beets plain. I also then like to chiffonade the beet grains and toss them with a little bit of lemon juice and use it as a little garnish salad on top. But so to show you more, you can see from this recipe, you can see there's different cultural facts, nutrition facts, and then when you click on the different ingredients, the nutrition facts panel for that ingredient will come up. So you can speak specifically to some of the nutrition around that item. You'll also have access to a cooking timer, so you go ahead and enter your time, and then when it's up, it'll make a little whistle and the cow will kind of move around on your screen. This is fun for cooking, but also fun if you're playing a game and you need to time your students. We also know that cooking is a great way for students to practice their math skills, so we've gone ahead and included a conversion chart as well. In the actual recipe directions, you can click on the different hyperlinks and watch videos about that cooking technique too, which is really nice for the students to see. And if you continue to scroll, you'll see there's an equipment section of what equipment you might need for this recipe, and then some other recommended sides. If you like this, you might also want to check out a few of these recipes. So that's just to see how something is cooked. You can also search by ingredient if you're trying to figure out what to do with all that extra whatever it is that's in season for you guys. And then you can go ahead and click on Recipe Journey. And so this begins the learning portion of it, where students will actually learn how the food goes from the garden all the way to their plate. So the food group is the first nutrition one. So maybe think to yourself, what place do you think the beets would belong? Are they veggies and fruit, whole grains, or lean protein? I'm sure you all guessed veggies and fruit, and we would be correct. And then we can go ahead into the game. So for this particular game, we're going to play the hard level, but depending on the level of your students, you might want to choose easy, you might want to choose medium, and this happens to be quick fire, so we need to answer as many questions as we possibly can. So one regular can of soda has almost a fourth of a cup of sugar. What do you all think? Let's just say yes, and we would get that correct. Removing the skin from the chicken is a quick way to cut fat. Let's say you didn't think so, and then you would see you were incorrect. And you're seeing I'm not earning points. In order to earn points, your students or yourself will need to make an account, but you can still go ahead and play. After you've learned about the food group, you'll move into the garden portion, where you can watch a video about how to grow whatever the highlighted ingredient is for this recipe, and then we can go on to play a garden game. So again, you guys are specialists in this area. Let's try hard. This one is the hurried cedar, so we're going to practice planting beets. This one says beets don't mind a little bit of shade, so we decide, do we want to put it in full sun, partial sun, or full shade? And let's go ahead and say, it says it didn't mind a little bit, so we'll go ahead and put it in partial sun, and we got it correct. And then it says they need to be 1 to 2 beet seeds per inch, so we can look at these rulers and see which one seems to match up with that, and this one looks like the right density to me, and we got it correct. And then finally, we need to give it some water. So it says it likes well-drained soil and not a ton of water, so let's go ahead and try this middle can. And then I click done, and we also got it right, so it's going to go ahead and water the seeds for us. After we've done what we can in the garden, it's time for us to go on to the grocery store. So when you come here, again, you can click on the different ingredients to see the nutrition facts panel, and then go right into the grocery store game. So let's try easy. In this one, the students are trying to practice where they might find things in the aisles. So where do you all think we might find beets? You can see your options here, and you say produce, and you would be right. And then it asks us about goat cheese. So let's say we thought that was a meat and not a dairy. We would see we were incorrect. And then finally the pepper, baking, and spices. Once we've got all of our ingredients from the garden and the grocery store, it's time to head to the kitchen. So we're going to head here. You can watch the videos again on the cooking techniques if you like, or you can go ahead and start playing. So for this, we're going to play the hard level again, because I know you guys can handle it. And the question is, how many cups are there in 1 pint? So if I look at my conversion chart, I can see 1 pint, 2 cups. So I'm going to go ahead and put the answer 2. And then the next question is tablespoons in 2 cups. Think if you have a guess. See if you got it right. The answer is 32. And then the last one, how many ounces are there in half a cup? So 1 cup is 8 ounces, so I'm going to put 4. And again, we got it correct. So let's go on. Our final thing is to come to the table. This is one of my favorite sections of the journey because we're going to actually learn a little bit about some other cultures and practice a new language. So for this one, we're going to drag each word over to whatever language we think it is. So el vaso, I'm sure many of you may know that that is glass in Spanish, so I'm going to go ahead and drag it over. And then this one, forchetta, sounds Italian to me, and then that leaves me with this one as spoon for French. So I can go ahead and finish, and now we'll conclude our recipe journey, and there'll be a little celebration for our students. There'll be some music playing at the end for them. But again, we didn't get to earn any points. So I want to show you quickly how you and your students can make accounts so that you can earn points along the way. So let's go back here, and let's go ahead and hit sign up. And since we're all adults, we would want to sign up as a teacher here, and then you'll go ahead and put your first name. So let's say I am Slow, last name Food, and then my email would be slowfood@gmail.com, and I want my password to be slowfood. And you can always go back in and change your password as well. When you come to school info, you want to go ahead and search whatever school you'd like to be associated by zip code. However, if you're not associated with a school, you can put in any zip code and just select any school. It won't affect that school's account, and hopefully in the next month or so you'll actually be able to choose an organization that you want to be associated with. So let's say I go ahead and choose a school, I go ahead and hit next, and now I can actually start typing in my class name, the grade, the subject, and when I have them. And what that will do is it will generate a course code. I can then give that course code to my students so they can be rostered in my class. Once you go ahead and finish that process, you'll get an activation email. Go ahead and click activate, and then you'll have access to these additional resources that I'm about to show you. So let me go ahead and sign in as a student so you can see what the students do with points. If you'd ever just like to try it, you can use the login ctdemo_student and then the password ctdemo_student just to demo it for yourself if you'd like. And once I'm in, what I want to show you here is the point store. So every time we play, we earn different points, and then the students on their end can go in and buy different items. So they can buy characters to change their avatar up top. So right now I have it as myself, but I could switch it over to broccoli, or I could buy Stevie the strawberry. I can then buy accessories for my characters if I'd like, and I can even change the background of my screen color if I'd like as well. And then you can move things back and forth when you go into account. So that's a fun thing for the students, and then we're also looking at building in some ability to earn prizes and things like that. So you would just want to stay tuned through our newsletters. The last bit that I want to show you is the additional resources that you will get as a teacher. So again, you'll go through that sign-up process that I just showed you to make yourself a teacher account, and then you'll be able to access what I'm about to show you here. And that is going to be our games playground. So under resources, you'll see this dialog box here that says Game Playground, and there's a couple really fun ones I want to point out. The first one is called Let Food Be Thy Medicine, so you can go in here and hit play, and we're going to be given different patients that are looking for some ailments. So this patient wants to have healthy bones and strong muscles. So if I look at pineapple, it boosts my immune system. Well, that's not an interest of this patient. This one, it also mentions helping eyes, which I don't necessarily see. And then this one, eggplant helps in digestion. So maybe I'll go ahead and just try pineapple because it does say bone health. And that would have been the best guess. So we got it correct. And then you can go through different patients. The other game that you'll find here is great for younger students, fruit and vegetable memory. So you would select a color card from the deck, and it will say orange or yellow, and then we can choose which one of these different items we think match that color, and then it will ask us a question. So what part of the orange provides the most fiber? So decide if you think pulp, juice, or seeds. I think pulp, and that would be correct. And so then you can go through and try and collect all the different color cards. The other game you'll find in here is one of my favorites, Protein Power. If you're a fan of the game Spoons or have ever played that where you're racing to collect the cards, this is similar, except we're going to try and collect 4 of the same type of protein. So you can see this one is animal-based lean. So is chicken. So those would be a match, but this meatballs is not lean, so it wouldn't be a match. So maybe I'm going to go ahead and pass that one, keep trying to pass until I have a match, and then try and grab a spoon, which we didn't get it, so I'd get the letter L. And the first person to spell the word L-E-A-N would be out. The other game you'll see here are various versions of Jeopardy, so Protein Jeopardy and Whole Grain Jeopardy, and then the answer keys can be found just down below. In Jeopardy, you'll be able to select how many teams you're playing with, and then select different avatars for each team. And then as a teacher, you would facilitate reading this question, checking if they got the answer right, and then assigning points if they did. The other great thing you have as a teacher is the ability to access lesson plans. So we have some sample lessons in here, and a couple great ones from Slow Food actually as well. So you can see here, you could go in and see a sample of the Small Bite lessons, which is that program we're offering training on November 14th. Or I could go in and see about how to make a salad dressing from Slow Food, learn about the lesson, view the lesson plan itself, as well as download any materials that I would need, check out the recipe that would be associated. I can mark it as taught. I can bookmark it to come back to it later. I can download it. I can send a message to Common Threads, or I can even print it. And so once you've gone through the Small Bytes training on the 14th, you'll actually be able to access all of our Small Byte lessons, which is over 50 lessons. If you haven't gone through the training, you'll still be able to access a couple of these samples. So that's the end of the tour. There's much more in there if you continue to click around, but I just wanted to show you some highlights. A couple ways we've seen our schools and community organization partners using this is to use it as a way for students to do something in indoor recess if they have the technology and they're not able to maybe play for the whole time or something like that. We've seen it as classroom work for groups and classroom work for individuals as well. We've seen it used in conjunction with the Small Bytes program a lot. We see it as take-home lessons, so perhaps you know you'll be cooking a recipe with the students in the garden and you want them to research that recipe. You could have them go home that night, play the game, and you as the teacher would be able to see that they actually played and earned points along that game. And we've also seen it as extension lessons. So if you just finished teaching the students all about different plant leaves, maybe they go and they find some recipes that use different plant leaves. A couple nuts and bolts, we do recommend that you use either Google Chrome or Internet Explorer 10 and above as your browser, and it's currently optimized for laptops and tablets. If you try and access it from your phone, it will work, but you'll see the design isn't just optimized for it yet. Everything gets a little squished, so we recommend the larger format laptops and tablets. So with that, you can always go on to http://www.commonbytes.org to make your own free account. I recommend a teacher account. And then you're all welcome to join us on Monday, the 14th of November at 3 p.m. Central for a free online training about Small Bytes so that you can access those lessons. There's a registration link here on the screen. We can also send it around after and post it, but it's http://tinyurl.com/htt/slow-food, and you can register between now and Monday the 14th to join us for that training and get the free lesson access. With that, that's the end of the tour. I've got a support email there if you have any follow-up questions, but also, Lauren, I'm happy to take the chat questions or do the Q&A right now too.
Great. Thank you so much, Stephanie. That was a really wonderful tour, and I think people will have a much better idea of how to use the program now, and I'm excited to go on and really familiarize myself with it and maybe even play some of those games and make some of your recipes. So thank you for sharing. If anyone has any questions at this time, it would be great if you could type them into the chat function, and we'll go ahead and see if we can get you some answers. Okay, it looks like we have a question from Jenny asking, what is the target age group?
Great question, Jenny. So we designed it with 3rd through 8th graders in mind. We're seeing teachers use it as young as pre-K, but 3rd through 8th was the primary folks we had in mind. The Small Bytes training, however, that we're doing on the 14th will cover pre-K through 8th grade lesson plans.
Great, thanks. Other questions? How often are the recipe banks updated?
The recipe bank is constantly being updated. Just as quick as we can, we're putting in new recipes. We're open to questions, recommendations, requests. So if there's something in your garden you really want us to post a recipe to, if you email support@commonbytes.org, we can prioritize getting some of those recipes in as well. I also see the question about, is there a capability to win the game, complete all the questions? Yes, if you went crazy, you could complete all the levels, but since we're constantly adding recipes and constantly adding games, it stays pretty fresh for the students. And then Andy asked, do we have a list of kitchen supplies that a teacher should have? It's not posted yet on the website, but I'm happy to. We do have a list of supplies for our Small Bites program, which is pretty basic. And then we also have a list of supplies for our more intense cooking programs as well that people would be welcome to use if they're thinking of stocking their kitchen. And then Andy also asks, is there a general cost of supplies? Do we try and keep them under a certain budget? Yes, it depends on the program that you're talking about. So for the Small Bites program that we're offering the training on, all of those recipes are under $4 a lesson for 20 students. We try and keep it to a tasting portion. The cooking programs can go closer to maybe like $2 to $3 per student, but we do try and keep it pretty affordable since we work in a lot of harder hit communities. For the age fill-up, again, I would recommend the 3rd through 8th grade, but we've seen teachers go as young as pre-K. And then Shante asked a great question, are classrooms in the same school able to compete against each other? So as a teacher, when you log in, you'll be able to go and see other teachers in your school and see how your classroom is doing point-wise compared to those classrooms. So you could set up some sort of competition if you'd like. Another question about handling allergies in the classroom, and do we provide alternative ideas for the common allergy issue? Our recipes, by and large, are peanut-free. We do hear that a lot from our schools to keep them peanut-free. We also recommend, if prior to doing any cooking, either send home sort of a permission form that collects allergy information, or check in with your school nurse or school administrator about allergies. And then you'll see in some recipes it might say use this or this, and so you can always make that substitution as well, or you can search by ingredient in the recipe bank, so you could just try and pick a different recipe as well. And then Kylie asks another great question, are students able to update recipe pictures and post their own? Yes, once students and teachers have made accounts, they are able to post pictures of what they cooked and comment. However, Common Threads monitors all of that, so prior to anything getting posted, we review it personally and then allow it to be posted, and then whatever is posted is only visible by that student's class. It's not visible publicly as a way to protect our students' privacy. There is also, Shante asked the question, is there a social share component? Yes, if you go into the recipes, you can actually, let me just go ahead and pick banana ice cream here. You can hit Facebook and you can share these recipes on Facebook as well, as long as you're logged into your Facebook.
Stephanie, I think Philip's question about the age range, I believe he's based in Kenya, so the grade system is different. So could you translate pre-K
Oh, I see.
ranges?
Yes, 8 to 12 years old.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if there aren't any other questions, then I suppose we can wrap up. Stephanie, you were very informative and also very efficient, 'cause we did that in 30 minutes. So yeah, thank you so much. If people have additional questions, Stephanie is more than happy for you to reach out. I can also take this as a quick moment to do a plug for Slow Food's new curriculum, which we just published just this month, October. So as part of our 3-part good, clean, and fair school garden curriculum, the Clean volume just came out, and that's all about gardening with kids. And we have 2 different chapters, one that talks about basic gardening skills and knowledge, and the other one is about a slow food garden. So it brings in themes of biodiversity and thematic beds around different plant families, and of course, lots of cultural recipes and different ways to engage students in the cooking process. So our clean curriculum is up on the website as a free PDF download, or you can order a hard copy online as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time, and thank you, Stephanie, for the wonderful tour of Common Bytes.
Thank you guys for hosting.
Okay, take care, everyone. Have a good day.